Hey y'all, just hopping on here to share some truth and just some total realness with y'all today. In my mind, I can say I am fearfully, wonderfully, and beautifully made, but honestly, y'all, I feel like crap. I don't feel beautiful. I'm literally physically sick. You know the statement, when it rains, it pours. That has definitely been this week. I actually had to stay home yesterday because of a high fever and I'm just being really sick. I was really excited that even though I'm still sick today, I could make it back to work, back to school and teaching. And then on the way to school, my tire just literally exploded. So I am on the side of the freeway. As you can see, cars passing by, waiting for the tow truck. Like I said, I wasn't sure I was even gonna hop on, but I talk about being real and not sharing just all the good things in life. And so it was like, you know what better opportunity than share during a moment that is very real and hard. My life is still good. I still have a lot of wonderful things. I have a lot to thank God for and a lot of joy to have, but life is hard still. Like I've shared before, hard things and joyful things happen at the same time. It's not always one or the other. As I was sitting here, I was literally like on the verge of tears because I was like, oh, it's just one of those weeks. This sucks. And I might still cry later today. It's not like I won't maybe break down later. But instead I was like, you know what? Like, I know the Bible talks a lot about hard and trying times. So I don't typically remember where these verses are found, to be honest. I don't have a great memory in that way. I can remember actual the words in verses, but I don't remember references, so I just Googled a verse, and luckily it was what I needed to hear, just as a reminder and a refresher. So I wanted to share this with y'all in hopes that when you're having one of these days or weeks that's just breaking you down over and over again, that this verse can hopefully bring you some encouragement, as it's reminding me, just so I can get through today. So I wrote it down. It's in 1 Peter 1:7. These trials will show that your faith is genuine. It is being tested as fire tests and purifies gold, though your faith is far more precious than mere gold. So when your faith remains strong through many trials, it will bring you much praise and glory and honor on the day when Jesus Christ is revealed to the whole world. I just love that verse. First off, our faith is more precious than mere gold. And in our materialistic world, that actually should mean a lot. So maybe than mere gold, maybe your faith is more precious than mere a Gucci belt or those Givenchy shirts that you buy, whatever it is. Maybe for you it's not even that high end. It doesn't have to be. Those are designer brands that I know of. Maybe it's your faith is more precious than that huge trip across the world that you've been saving up for. And those are valuable things, y'all, but your faith is more precious than all of that. And that's what God is telling us here. And so during these times, I also just had to remind myself, because I've been praying a lot these past few days. I've had other things going on personally that have just made me really sad, and it's hard not to tear up thinking about them. But even just getting through the day without crying in front of my students, I've had to pray, just Lord, give me your strength. One thing that I do when I pray is I literally imagine God being with me. I am such an affectionate person. And so even going to sleep last night, I was just like, Lord, I need your embrace. And something my counselor taught me, as cheesy as it may sound, she said, hug yourself and imagine God hugging you. I am such a person of physical touch, and so imagining God embracing me and just being here with me has brought me so much comfort. And that's a part of our faith that we need, y'all. We don't need the world's idea of, I need to look all put together, I need to have everything all set, because that's only going to add more stress, and that's only going to wear us down more when we're already feeling broken down. We need a loving embrace of the Father, and God has that for us, y'all. And I was fortunate also to have a teacher friend, Raven. She's my new teacher best friend. Thank you, Raven. I'm gonna send this to you because I want you to hear this. You mean so much to me. at school on Tuesday, I just like broke down and cried in front of her at lunch. And it was so sweet, y'all, because I don't know if you've ever been in situations where you didn't know you were going to cry, but you felt like you needed to stop because you felt embarrassed and ashamed. I didn't feel any of that because Raven's such an emotionally safe person, and she didn't make me feel judged or like it was wrong for me to cry or feel sad about what I was feeling sad about. And she actually ended up crying with me. And y'all, there's just nothing more healing than us hurting with one another when we're hurting. The Bible even says, rejoice with those who rejoice and mourn with those who mourn. I think in American Christianity, we do a pretty good job at rejoicing. I think we do a great job at rejoicing with those who rejoice. We like to celebrate and like to rejoice in the happy moments, and that's so good, that's so godly. But y'all, we need to challenge ourselves to also be able to mourn with those who mourn. And the only way we can do that is if we are aware of our own emotions, not just aware of being able to express them, but actually processing our own emotions, so that when somebody else has something hard come up, it's not too much for us to handle. Our emotions and our hard times, they're not too much for God to handle. And we have His Spirit dwelling within us. So we as Christians, we have what it takes to be able to handle the hard things with one another. But it requires us processing some of our hard emotions as well. So just know that, there's not such a thing as the prosperity gospel where the more you're following the Lord, the better your life gets. That's just not true. The Bible talks over and over again. I mean, if you look at the disciples' lives, they were hard, y'all. And the reality is the Christian life may not be worth it to some people. I feel like I surrendered aspects of my life to God this past weekend and even earlier this week more than I have, and hard things just happened. And I could easily think like, God, why? But first off, like, I was taking a risk towards my faith, so it's going to be tried. But also we have an adversary, the devil, who wants to attack us. He doesn't want us to pursue the Lord. And so when we are starting to pursue God and really living our life for Him, the enemy is also going to come in and try and derail us and make us feel discouraged and hopeless. And that's why we have to be there for one another, to lift one another up, to continue to encourage one another towards the Lord, even when times are hard, and not to pursue the Lord as though we're bucking up our bootstraps, but to remind one another that God is constantly pursuing us, and that while even though our circumstances may completely suck, God's love never fails us. And so we know that there's at least something in our life that has not failed and will not fail us, and that alone can be an encouragement. Hopefully that is enough to take us through the day or each moment by moment throughout a hard day.